do, I can do better. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Welcome to the NBA here on 2K Sports. Sunday in the NBA. It's the Atlanta Hawks going up against the New York Knicks.
And moments ago, the national anthem and the mental preparation for the game ahead. Thank you for tuning into this Sunday afternoon 2K Sports. Of the NBA. With Doris Burke from the sideline. On my side, Steve Kerr and Clark Keller. This is Kevin Harlan. Now a chance to check out tonight's starting lineups. First for the Hawks. Conley out there with McCollum. They've got Gobert. You simply have to respect the tremendous skill he has down low, the work ethic and athletic ability to make a big impact under the boards. And for the Knicks, Holiday out there with Chris Middleton. So Atlanta will get the first possession. Conley kicks to McCollum. Back to Conley. Off the mark there with the three-point shot.
Mike Conley, boy, second in the NBA last season in steals per game. Quick feet and quick hands and a smart defender as well. Make him a pesky guy to deal with at that end of the floor. That is not enough coverage. Got to be better than that defensively. Basically no coverage. I mean, defense did not look very good there.
Right side, Conley. McCollum with the ball. Back to Conley. Always going up for the alley-oop here. There it is, guys. That Olay defense. Just watching him go, Clark, right by.
I think we might be seeing which team is ready to take control of this game.
Yeah, that's a dunk that could absolutely get them going. I agree, Clark.
The shot by Holiday, no good. And for Conley offensively, he doesn't try, Steve, I think, to do too much.
No, in some ways, he reminds you of a possession quarterback.
Oh, nice comparison.
He's going to be steady, do the little things, and let the game come to him, but very capable of making a big play when necessary.
Holiday attacking, rejected by Gobert. It's good.
This is the NBA on 2K Sports. Welcome, fans. Friday Hoop.
Now a chance to check out our starting lineups. First for the Hawks. Conley out there with McCollum. They got Gobert. We will see him go to work on that low block. One of the great centers right now in the league. And for the Knicks, Holiday out there with Chris Middleton.
You know, the Knicks got off to a fast start, but when you employ as many old bodies as they did last year, it's hard to sustain the level of play you need over the course of a full season. It's one reason they started to falter a bit late in the year.
Now here's Gordon. Clock at 6. Passes it to McCollum. Fades away. And the shot is good. McCollum's got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball.
And that's a nice way for his team to get started.
Yeah, really nice start for his team to get out in front here.
New York moving it around. The shot's good from Wiggins. And Clark, you said the Knicks did hit that wall last season right after the All-Star break into early March. But Steve, when the Vets saw the finish line in sight, they picked up their play and got back in it.
That's right. They won 13 games in a row late in the season, catapulting themselves back into the top tier of teams in the East, and let everyone know that they would not be exiting the playoffs early. That really was the start of that run.
Back to Holiday. Now the pass to Wiggins. Fires at the elbow. And he nails the jumper.
He's such a well-rounded offensive player. He's got a little bit of everything.
Holiday against Conley. Pass to McCollum from past the arc. Here's Gobert, and a good offensive board, and he gets the bucket.
And what you love about him is just the way he hits the offensive glass. I mean, he knows that those are the easiest points for him, when he can find a loose ball, get an offensive board, and put it back into the basket.
And you've also got to love what a forceful low-post defender he is. If he blocks one of your shots, you remember it. He sends them into the stands to make a point.
Here's Conley after the made shot from Wiggins. Outside Conley. Holiday brings the double team. There's the screen. The Hawks need to get off the shot here. McCollum, no good.
Drew Holiday established himself as an elite player in a breakout year. When the team decided to move Iguodala, they were looking for a leader, and their young point guard stepped right into that role.
Now here is Holiday. Passes it to Wiggins. And the go-ahead bucket, no good.
You know, even though he missed that one, great shooters have a way of feeling when they've got enough room to pull the trigger.
Yeah, not enough defensive coverage there to prevent him from firing that time. But I think if he's open, he's got to let that thing fly.
And here's Conley outside.
Well, that defense went from poor to no defense at all.
Well, you don't see him miss that shot very often. When he's open like that, it's usually lights out.
And for Drew Holiday, with the departure of Iguodala and Lou Williams, the ball was in his hands a lot more last season. And of course, as we know, he made his first All-Star game appearance.
Well, he really produced, Kevin. He upped his scoring, almost doubled his assist, received a lot of votes for most improved. And you mentioned the All-Star game. I mean, he's just 23 years old.
Very good point. They really want to find that igniter here.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin, the offense has basically been running in place.
They got to get going. New York, no good that time either. The Hawks leading by 3. And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
I caught up with Coach Tom Thibodeau. He told me they'll be looking to stretch the opposing defense and open things up by using their ability to knock down long-range shots. Success from the perimeter will translate to success on the inside. Those were his words to me, Kevin. Back to you.
Thanks, Doris. Always want to get those threes falling consistently.
Yeah, Kevin, you're right, because that's really the only way that you can force the defense to spread out and extend itself. And when that happens, then other opportunities appear.
Late reaction from the defense, and he's always going to make good on that.
And now the first timeout called here for the Hawks. Blake Griffin, he's checked in for the Hawks. Atlanta's gone 1 of 3 from beyond the arc so far in the game. McCollum off a bit from Gordon. Good on the three-point shot. And it's 8 points for C.J. McCollum.
And the story of this game in the early stages is just how well they've been shooting the ball.
Steve, their percentage from the floor is really impressive up to this point.
Holiday attacking. He passes to Irving. And count the basket. He is fouled, and he's going to the line for one more.
Exceptional play to take the bump and still get it up and down.
Yeah, way to stay with it and look to finish the play right there. You know, last season the Hawks were a solid team on the road. Nothing spectacular. Really what you'd expect from a 3 seed in the East. Ended the year with a 19-22 road record. Not bad.
Well, Clark, you said it about the Hawks last year, 19-22 on the road. You really need to hover around 500 on the road. Don't you think, Steve, to position yourself for the playoffs?
No question. As long as you can control your home court and get a good record there, then 500 on the road is just fine. But this is a Hawks team that's looking to take the next step, Kevin, to really become elite. They've been kind of stuck in the middle for a while now.
Here's Holiday after the made shot from Gobert. He kicks it to Middleton, puts it up, and there's another one for the Knicks. The Hawks leading by 4. McCollum with the screen for Conley. He dishes it to McCollum, defended by Wiggins. Conley kicks to Griffin. That one off the back iron and out.
Well, you can see why the defense is willing to let him take that shot. That's really not his range.
Holiday against Griffin. Back to Holiday. From downtown, the shot is off. Out of bounds, Atlanta will take possession. And the Hawks with a completely new group on the floor. Atlanta's gone 2 of 4 from beyond the arc to start the game. Griffin a screen on Walker. Kicks to Green. Launches a 3. The Knicks pull it in. And here's Walker. And DeAndre Jordan pulls it down.
Incredible timing on the alley-oop.
He absolutely hammered it down.
And that's the play we're going to remember when this game is all said and done.
Here's Saric. On the pass to Vincent. No one near him. And the basket good. 1:24 left in the first. Pass to Walker. The 3. Gets it to go.
That's like a layup for him. He's just wide open out there.
The Hawks have gotten 8 of their 13 shots to find the bottom of the bucket. Feeds to Green. Pass to Vincent. Hawks passing it around. Lets it go from deep. That is good. He has 5.
This is great. 3-pointers going down quickly at both ends.
Yeah, it took them no time to answer back on that possession.
Back to Walker. The shot. And the Knicks good for 2.
Well, it's definitely been a shootout. But the team that can start playing some defense might have an edge.
Pass to Vincent. Back to Green. On deep. And that's collected by DeAndre Jordan. 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Outside, Walker. Dishes to Lopez. A 3-ball. And the rebound goes to Griffin. The pass to Vincent. Here's Saric. He passes to Vincent. Now the feed to Green. 1 second left. And that one goes in as he is fouled. It'll be 3 points if he converts at the line.
Everybody on the floor is hot. Incredible stuff here in the early stages.
Tell you what, both teams playing downhill. Who's going to blink first?
Oh, we've seen some great shots in the first quarter. No shortage of offense. Hawks lead by 5. And will. All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And guys, let's get your take on the scoring breakdown for the Hawks.
Boy, the three-point shot has really been dropping for him early on.
And the other thing we're seeing is great ball movement. We're seeing a lot of good offensive execution, ball movement, player movement, setting up assists.
It's rebounded by Bertanis. The Hawks leading by 5. Here's Avdia. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
Well, his body control is what I noticed. I think that jumps off the page when you watch him play. Even with the defender draped all over, he's able to find a way to get to the rim and get the shot to go in.
And another skill that sets him apart, his success rate on catch-and-shoot jumpers. It's not every player that has such a great feel for that particular shot.
And he can't get the first one.
A lot of high hopes for the Knicks in last year's playoffs. They started off so hot, but then let the series against Boston drag on, and eventually went to 7 games, and they fell to the Pacers in the second round after that.
And the Boston series did drag on him, you could tell. You wonder if they were a bit fatigued going into that Pacers series. Steve, Indiana just outplayed him, outworked him in every way in the second round.
Yeah, I think it was a factor, Kevin, and really the Knicks have only themselves to blame. They had Boston down 3-1 and a home game to close it out, but they couldn't get it done. And there's no doubt that affected them against Indiana in the next series.
Shot's good by Walker.
They came off that screen. The defense just couldn't get over the top. Beautiful play.
Yep, and without a hand in his face, he's going to bury those.
Pass to Bertens. There's the triple. Can't hit. Now the Knicks take it the other way. Walker with it. He's got 7. Walker gets a screen from Moody. Walker the pass to Moody. Back to Walker. And they're unable to get the tying basket there.
You know, the big knock on Blake Griffin through the beginning of his career is that he struggled with his free throws. He worked at it, and last season had the...
Unbelievable.
How did he do that? Knicks trailed by 5. Walker dishes to White. White gets the screen from Moody. And here's Walker outside. Walker's got 10 points in the game.
And they've set up countless buckets off assists. That's a huge part of what they've been doing here today.
A lot of dime dropping going on out there, Steve.
Passes to Bertens. And there's the pass to Avdia. Just 5 on the clock. Here's Vincent. And they wasted no time getting those 3 points back. 8 points for him.
That shot becomes effortless for him when the D is so relaxed. They've got to get more intense.
And the Knicks decide to take their first time out here.
The Hawks last season weren't really a bad offensive team, but they did have one of the more memorable offensive nights, and not for anything positive. In the January game against the tough Bulls team, the Hawks only scored 58 points over the course of the entire game.
And White kicks to Holiday. Back to White. The tray. Atlanta with the rebound. Outside Gordon. The dish to McCollum. Another 3 for Atlanta. As you said, the Hawks had one of the worst offensive nights, Clark, in the NBA. But overall, we're a solid offensive team right around the middle of the league. Steve just goes to show what can happen when a team goes cold.
Yeah, when you don't have that one guy who you can always lean on to score. I mean, there are going to be some nights where everything just misses. And I think that was the case that game against Chicago. It was kind of bizarre, but hey, over the course of 82 games, it's going to happen.
You know, you look at the Hawks last season, and despite the emergence of Jeff Teague as a point guard, didn't have a dominating assist guy at that position, and it was basically more of an equal opportunity offense as far as the assists go.
And Clark, as you said, the Hawks are a very good passing team. Steve actually finished 3rd in the NBA in assists per game last year as a team.
Well, it helps when you have great passers at every position, and I thought that was the case for Atlanta last year. The ball moved, the players tried to create easier shots for each other, and that's why they were a pretty effective team.
And the Knicks making a change here. Middleton's checked in.
All these open threes they're giving up have really been the driving force of this run.
I agree, guys, and the points add up in a hurry when you start giving up easy looks from long range.
New York, no good that time either.
That's not a sight you see very often. I mean, he has a great feel for that jump shot, especially when he's open.
Outside Conley. He feeds it to McCollum. It's rebounded by Wiggins. Knicks trail by 10. That's going to be over and back. Not watching for the line that time. McCollum passes to Conley. Harrell. He kicks to Gordon. He dishes it to Conley. Banked in off the glass. Conley's got 5 now.
The defender a little hesitant to offer resistance as he bursts to the hoop.
There's a screen. Pass to Irving. And he jams it after taking the nice feet on the run. I like that they're taking it inside and taking advantage of each opportunity, Clark, to chip away at the deficit.
Yeah, and doing it with the dunk is a major energizer, too. Gets the momentum going.
Yeah, and I think the interior defense, as good a job offensively as we saw. The defensive presence was almost non-existent. And they may see this lead disappear if they continue to give up those easy points.
Kicks it to Holiday. Drills the three-pointer.
Yeah, they're knocking down the long-range shot. A lot of those same shots they missed earlier in the first quarter. They still find themselves down here, but they're starting to make some headway into that deficit.
Hero. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Well, for so long, the Knicks have been the punchline of the Eastern Conference the last decade. Poorly managed contracts and questionable trades really kept them from rising to the top in the East. And once again now, they look like a powerhouse.
And Clark, you were right. The Knicks were a powerhouse last season. Steve, 37 wins against the rest of the conference, and they just would dominate other teams at times.
Well, they're a team that doesn't really want to run a lot or force tempo. They just kind of want to get you in the half court. They don't turn the ball over, and they bury you from long range. So, they found their identity last year, and it really dominated in that Eastern Conference.
Holiday dishes to Middleton. New York moving it around. Here's Wiggins. Off the mark, had a chance to trim it to single digits. The Hawks leading by 12. Oh, and there's the alley-oop.
Phenomenal alley-oop slam right there, guys.
They're taking advantage, Clark, of a team that looks lost out there.
Yeah, this is threatening to get kind of ugly out here.
Time call here. The Knicks decide to talk it over.
You know, for a long time, the Knicks were viewed as a young team on the rise, but when they added Rasheed Wallace last year, the average age went to 32, which was the oldest team in the league last season, and you saw it in their play. They were a group of veterans out there.
So it's the Knicks now. They trail by 14. Gets it to go. And for the Knicks, the veteran leadership helped them at times as they had to go through some very tough stretches, Steve, due to injury.
Yeah, they did go through some stretches, but they really did well to secure the division title and get that high seed going into the playoffs. They had a pretty decent run all in all, but this is a team that has higher aspirations than just getting to the conference semis.
McCollum, no good. The Knicks have gone 5 of 11 from the field since the beginning of the second quarter. The shot's good from Wiggins. He's got 10.
Oh, he has shot the ball well, but it has not been contagious. And his teammates, they haven't had the same groove, and that's why we're looking at this result so far.
Time call here. The Hawks decide to talk it over. The Hawks making a switch here. Sarge is checked in. The Hawks leading by 10. McCollum kicks to Conley. Conley off the pick from Gobert. Saric passes to Gobert. Conley. Atlanta again missing.
Kevin, I didn't like that defensive effort at all, but they're lucky he missed it.
Yeah, they were very lucky defensively because there was some miscommunication there. They left him wide open.
They get the rebound. Number 43, defended by Gordon. Pass to Holiday. Feeds it to Middleton. Tries again. It's good. The assist that time from Holiday. Holiday's got 3 assists in the game.
Yeah, he's a bomber. I mean, that's what I love about him. He's as good a three-point shooter as you'll see. And of course, has the green light to let it fly anytime he wants.
And offensively, you'll find him often lurking on those corners. Always a high percentage shot among three-pointers, and especially for him.
The Hawks again can't hit. Knicks trail by 8. 24 seconds left here in the second. It's stolen by Gobert.
Shot clock is off. This should be the last possession of the quarter.
That's what they should have in mind here.
He's looking for Gordon and finds him. Passes it to Sarge. Dishes to McCollum. The feed now to Gordon. Shot to stop the drought. He got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him. And so we conclude the first half. Bucks ahead. They're up by 8. Well, folks, stay tuned for the halftime show at Damon Bruce for all the highlights from our first half.
Now, presented by Sprint.
And it's a good one going out in New York. Glad to have you with us for our halftime show. The Hawks off to a good start. And from outside, you couldn't shoot it much better than this. They are scorching hot from beyond the arc. C.J. McCollum getting pretty much everything he tries against New York. He has 11 points and is also sharing the ball, picking up assists as well. And a resilient Knicks team staying in it. They're scoring with confidence, shooting with an excellent percentage. Kemba Walker making his presence felt early. What a revelation he's been, coming off the bench to put up some incredible numbers. And that's all we have for you here in the studio. Now let's send it on back to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke for the second half of play.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.